ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। देवाय तस्मै नमः। 13 onwards. पञ्चैतानि महाबाहो
पञ्चैतानि महाबाहो
करणानि निबोध मे।
करणानि निबोध मे।
सांख्ये कृतान्ते प्रोक्तानि
सांख्ये कृतान्ते प्रोक्तानि
सिद्धये सर्वकर्मणाम्
सिद्धये सर्वकर्मणाम्
अधिष्ठानं तथा कर्ता
अधिष्ठानं तथा कर्ता
करणं च पृथग्विदम्
करणं च पृथग्विदम्
विविधाश्च पृथक् चेष्टाः
विविधाक्ष पृथक् चेष्टाः
दैवं चैवात्र पञ्चमम्
दैवं चैवात्र पञ्चमम्
शरीरवाङ्मनोभिर्यत्
शरीरवाङ्मनोभिर्यत्
कर्म प्रारभते नरः
कर्म प्रारभते नरः
न्याय्यं वा विपरीतं वा
न्यायं वा विपरीतं वा
पञ्चैते तस्य हेतवः
पञ्चैते तस्य हेतवः
तत्रैवं सति कर्तारम्
तत्रैवं सति कर्तारम्
आत्मानं केवलं तु यः
आत्मानं केवलं तु यः
पश्यत्यकृतबुद्धित्वात्
पश्यत्यकृतबुद्धित्वात्
न स पश्यति दुर्मतिः
न स पश्यति दुर्मतिः
यस्य नाहङ्कृतो भावः
यस्य नाहङ्कृतो भावः
बुद्धिर्यस्य न लिप्यते
बुद्धिर्यस्य न लिप्यते
हत्वापि स इमान् लोकान्
हत्वापि स इमान् लोकान्
न हन्ति न निबध्यते
हन्ति न निबध्यते
ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं परिज्ञाता
ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं परिज्ञाता
त्रिविधा कर्म चोदना
त्रिविधा कर्म चोदना
करणं कर्म कर्तेति
करणं कर्म कर्तेति
त्रिविधः कर्म संग्रहः
त्रिविधः कर्म सङ्ग्रहः
Yeah. So I think we finished shloka number 17 last time. So until 12, karma yoga was talked about, and from 13 to 17, jnana yoga was talked. So in a way, it's easy to summarize the message of Sri Krishna, correct? After studying Bhagavad Gita so many chapters, year after year, if somebody were asked us to ask us to summarize, we can say clearly, yes, there is a very important thing called Jnana Yoga, which involves Jnanam, knowledge of something I don't have, which frees me completely. That's the main thing. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Jivo Brahmaiva na Paraha. Okay. And so, Brahma Satyam, there is one Satyam called Brahma, which all our classical music, almost every other song will talk about. Brahma Mukati onwards. So much. Sarvam Brahma Mayam. Like this, you have all kinds of songs. So Brahma Mukati. That Brahma Mukati is talked about here. There is only Ekam Brahma, Ekam Satyam Brahma. And then Jagan Mithya. Then what about this universe, the world that I confront? Yeah, the confrontation is always between two mithyas. Many mithyas are conflicting with each other. And this is important because Shastram then says, Aham Satyam. I am not mithya. And so, Nayam Hantina Hanyate. Therefore, that Aham can neither be killed nor perform any act for that matter. So that's the bold statement. Then the next question will be, how am I going to figure this out? I don't follow it. It's okay. It's a very bold statement, but it's not difficult to follow. Somebody has to teach us. That's all. And so that is Jnana Yoga out there. That's the goal. Then everything else which is not part of Jnana Yoga has to be put into the bucket of Karma Yoga. It becomes a discipline. All values are all discipline. Values are meant for what? So now we can understand the purpose of a value. Suppose somebody asks, what is the use? What is the use of being truthful? I don't get anything. I end up losing in the process. I am put through all kinds of inconveniences. If somebody says, there is punyam and papam, that itself is enough for us to lead a dharmic life. Okay, that itself is enough. But if a person asks the question, then jnanam becomes important. Krishna says, the entire Shastram says, I have to be prepared. If I can't live a dharmic life, then jnanam will not stick to me. Okay. So this is the idea here. And therefore, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga were summarized until Shloka number 17. And from 18 to 40, Krishna is going to, Krishna is very summary. Okay, summary of Gita is over by Shloka number 17. Now, another type of summary is going to be started from 18 onwards for the next 20 or so verses. Okay, it's going to happen. So that way we can see how Krishna approaches Jnana Yoga, how Krishna approaches this idea of moksha. Krishna won't talk much about artha, kama, and dharma because Arjuna knows all that. So there's no need to. But he has to talk about that preparation, values, and the attitude of karma yoga. Ishwararpana buddhi, how important it is. Prasada buddhi, how important it is in the pursuit of my knowledge of this tattva, Brahma tattva. All right. So now He's going to talk about this 18 shloka is going to introduce certain topics. We'll see certain topics he's going to introduce. Again, karma and jnanam only. Karma and jnanam. We can't get away from that because that is the tattva. And karma is meant to, karma done with a particular attitude is meant to give me antakarana shuddhi, means a maturity of mind, which makes the message, the Advaita, Jiveshwara Aikyam, just shine in my head, make it crystal clear. And so, here, he is going to talk about this karma chodana. Okay, 18th shloka. Last word of the first line is karma chodana, and the last word of the second line is karma sangraha. So, those are the two things he's talking about. If you look at our own life, the life of a child, first two decades are all completely jnanam based. Jnanam based. Study, study, and study. No contribution. No contribution to family. No contribution to society. Nothing. Zero contribution. At least the way the Vedic society is designed. No earning money. So self contribution also is not there. And then only karma starts. After marriage, karma starts. Or maybe slightly before marriage. And karma means activity, earning a living is a big karma. And then being part of the family, being part of the society, a contribute. Contribution begins only much later. And so jnanam and karma, just from a purely transactional point of view. And so, so that the way the activity happens, whenever I do something, if you analyze what we do, I have to know first jnanam, jnana shakti. That's why chakra shakti, kriya shakti, jnana shakti swarupini. Which order it comes, I forget now. First jnanam has to come, whatever be the order. First jnanam, I must know about something. Then I can say, then I'll have a desire to do something. The desire to do will not happen without any knowledge. Okay. 50 years ago, none of us had a desire to have a smartphone. 50 years ago. Okay, assuming we were alive that time. Okay, we were born at that time. Then, because there are some young people also in class. So, why no desire for smartphone? Because the word itself was not there. Smartphone, smart person is there. Phone may be there. Phone was there probably 50 years ago, means 1970s. Okay, 1970s, we did not have a phone, but late 70s, finally one phone came, early 80 or late 70s or something. If you were in Delhi, maybe you were little advanced. At those times, the cities, Delhi was much more advanced. The television also came to Delhi first. Then only slowly trickles down to Hyderabad. This trickle effect is there among cities also. And so, no desire for a smartphone. Why? Because no jnanam. Smartphone jnanam is not there. Therefore, smartphone icha is not there. And therefore, pursued smartphone icha me, and then I have to go get it. I have to go get the smartphone. I have to work hard to get a smartphone. I have to make the phone calls. I have to go to the store, etc. That is all karma. So, janati, ichati, yatate. This is typical. Janati, knows. Ichati, desires. And then yatate. Yatate means prayatna kurute. Makes an effort. Makes an effort to achieve something, accomplish something. Accomplish the object of knowledge. Okay. So this is typical. So here, look at this. He is talking about karma chodana. Karma chodana means he is talking about here are the triggers of action. Here are the impellers of action. Here are the activators of action. Any action is going to be activated by what? What is it that activates action? Okay. He's saying that is trividha. Trividha karma chodana. There are three things that activate action. Okay. And so the trividha, triputi. So there's a triad, this tripartite activators of action, causes of action also you can say. You can use that word. All right. Jnanam, jneyam, parijnata. Jnanam, jneyam, parijnata. So, jnata, okay, jnanam is there, we said earlier. Janati, ichhati, yatate, we said. Janati, you have to have the jnana shakti is there. It's a beautiful shakti. So that jnanam has to be there. The person has to have some knowledge. No, okay, person has to have knowledge. Okay, knowledge is there. It must reside in a person. That person is called parijnata. No, jnanam is knowledge, but knowledge has to rest in a conscious being. So that is parijnata. Parijnata, one knows it properly. If you don't know something properly, then also you can't, you'll be confused. You can't desire for something. Or you don't know clearly what it is. You have to know what it is. That's why you have to do research. First step in any pursuit is research. Research. Calling people might be enough to do your research. Sometimes the research is very involved, sometimes it's not involved. All that is there. So, jnanam, parijnata is a knower. The knower gains the knowledge of what, if you say, of whatever object, whatever thing, whatever system, whatever situation. Okay. So, that is called jneyam. Jneyam. That which is to be known, that which is known. It's called Jnayam. So, Jnanam is the knowledge of the Jnayam, okay, correct? Of the object, of whatever I know. Whatever I know. It can be an object, it can be a person, it can be a relationship, it can be anything that you want to know. And so the teacher is there, the teacher wants to know the students. The teacher enters the classroom and now the relationship builds. And the teacher who comes to know about every student 25, 30. That's why they talk about this teacher student ratio. It can't be, the student teacher ratio can't be too high. If it's too high, then the communication will suffer, and pedagogy will suffer, education will suffer. All teachers will know that. So there is some optimal ratio. And some schools have very low ratio, like even 4 or 5. Okay. And very good schools, which can be expensive because of that particular system. And so anyway, so object of knowledge is Jnayam. Now, this knowledge is not referring to self-knowledge, Atma Vidya, Brahma Vidya. This is just knowledge of anything. We lead a life based on what we know. So everything that we come to know is all that knowledge. It excludes self-knowledge. It excludes that. So we have to remember that. Why does it exclude self-knowledge? That is because yathaidhamsi samidhognihi bhasmasat kurute tata jnanagni sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute tatha. We saw that. We saw that in the 4th chapter, I think. 437 is where it comes. Jnanagni sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute. We saw because jnanam burns up all karma. There he said, Krishna had said. Okay. And in the 2nd chapter also he said, 255. Make a note if you like. Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyev atmana tushtaha Sthita prajnastadochyate. For a person who has this Atma Vidya and who knows Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, for that person, karma loses its purpose. Person is an akarta to begin with, and therefore there is no karma. Karma is there only when there is a karta. When a karta is not there, what to do? Actions seem to happen. Actions will happen. And Jnani also will perform actions. But they're all loka sangrahartam or maintenance of the body. That's a maximum. And therefore, that knowledge cannot be included in this word called jnanam. Okay? That's just by the way. Prajahati yada kama. When all desires are given up, all binding desires are given up. Why? Because Atma is free. For one's sake, there can't be any karma. Because one is already complete. Okay? That's the idea there. Therefore, three causes for action: jnanam, jneyam, parijnata. Knowledge, object of knowledge, and knower of that knowledge, of course. All right. Then he's talking about karma sangraha. Karma sangraha. Sangrihyate iti sangraha. Karmanaha sangraha. So factors, constituents of karma. What constitutes karma? What do you mean by karma? If you ask, then he's saying trividaha. What is the meaning of karma? Trividaha. Threefold. Karma has three constituents. Karma has three things that you must understand. Okay? That's so if you want to understand karma completely, karma vyavahara completely, then you must know three things. Three things. Okay. Karanam, karma, karta, iti. So the karteti must be split. Karta, iti. Karanam, karma, karta. Again, it's not very difficult to follow. Karta must be there. Let's look at karta first. Karta must be there. A doer, an agent of action. Somebody who wants to do must be there. And so I am about to do something. Okay, that I must be there, obviously. So that is karta. Karta. Next, karma must be there. Karma. What is karma? Karma is not action. Karma is not action here. How many words are there in this shloka which have the word karma? Huh? Three
Three.
are there. Three are there. Correct. So, three. So, karma chodana, karma sangraha. In those two words, karma means action. But here, the karanam, karma, karta. There, the word karma is what? Is a grammatical word karma. Which means what? Which means?
Palam.
Desire.
Object.
Object.
Object. Object. Nice try, other people. Nice try. That's how we learn. And so object. So grammar. We have to talk about grammar. So those of you who are wondering what is this Guruji is constantly going off in Sanskrit and grammar and all. Here we have to talk about grammar. This is not optional. So nominative case, subject. What is the technical word for subject in Sanskrit grammar?
Karta.
Pratama
Karta.
vibhakti.
Karta.
Karta.
Pratama vibhakti. Karta. Then accusative case. Karma.
Karma.
Then instrumental case.
Karanam.
Karanam.
That is what is being talked about. Karta, karma, and karanam. Okay. So that means what? Karta means a doer must be there, an agent must be there. That's karta. And that is what is expressed by the prathama vibhakti in every sentence. Nominative case. And then accusative. Accusative. I don't know why they say accusative. Interesting word. I think the point is,
Accusate.
Yeah, something is pointing to an object, I think. I don't know. Accusative. So, anyway, accusative means object. The predicate, maybe you can say predicate. I don't know if you can say predicate also. Object, we'll leave it at object. Okay. So, object. Rama went to the forest. Forest is accusative. Rama is karta. Went is karma, is a verb. It's a verb. And then went to the forest by foot. By foot is karanam, instrument, correct? So he's saying these are the main components of action. These are the, not main, these are the components of action. Everything else will come from questions. Where did Rama start his journey? Was he accompanied by others? Lakshmanena saha, Sitaya saha, all these things, questions can come. Details, they're all details. But these are the things. Karanam, karma, karta. The grammatical expressions. Okay. Okay. What about fourth case now that we are at it? Fourth case is called karta, karma, karanam. Nominative, accusative, instrumental. Next.
Sampradhanam.
Sampradhanam. Fifth case.
Apadhanam.
Apadanam. A seventh case.
Possession.
Adhikaranam.
Adhikaranam. Correct. Adhikaranam. Shashti. Sixth case is there. It's not a karaka. So it's sambandha. Sambandha, right? Relationship.
Adhikarana is seventh case, I think.
Yeah, adhikarana is seventh case. Okay. Just for your information. So these are terms used in grammar. And then they will say things like there is adhika, there is sambandha shashti, shesha shashti, then there is other types of shashti and all that is there. Anyway, here, karanam, karma, karta, iti, trividaha, karma sangraha. The two things are talked about in this shloka. Karma chodana, causes of action or activators of action, triggers of action. What triggers action? Then here, what are the components of action? What are the factors involved in action? Both seem similar but different. One involves knowledge, parijnata, jnata, jneyam, jnanam. So it involves knowledge. The other one involves karma, literally karma, components of karma. Okay. So let's translate this shloka. The knower the object of knowledge, the knower, the object of knowledge, and knowledge. And knowledge, hyphen. This is the threefold cause of action. This is the threefold cause of action. Instead of saying three causes of action, Krishna is saying this is the threefold cause of action. All three must be there for any action to take. Okay. This is the threefold cause of action. Full stop. Next sentence. The doer or the agent, the doer, the object, and the instrument. These are the threefold constituents of action. These are the threefold constituents of action. Okay, let's repeat that. The knower, the object of knowledge and knowledge. This is the threefold cause of action. Full stop. The doer, the object, and the instrument. These are the threefold constituents of action. I mean, for us now, it seems somewhat basic. Long ago, we talked about 3-4 years also, we talked about it. But there we had to specifically bring in all these things and explain knower, etc. And all these words, nyayam, jnanam, we talked about all that. And so now it's a summary, so we can appreciate it in a summary form. Okay, shloka number 19. ज्ञानं कर्म च कर्ता च
ज्ञानं कर्म च कर्ता च
त्रिधैव गुणभेदतः
त्रिधैव गुणभेदतः
प्रोच्यते गुणसङ्ख्याने
प्रोच्यते गुणसङ्ख्याने
यथावत् शृणुतान्यपि
यथावत् शृणुतानि तान्यपि
ज्ञानं कर्म च कर्ता च
ज्ञानं कर्म च कर्ता च
त्रिधैव गुणभेदतः
त्रिदैव गुणभेदतः
प्रोच्यते गुणसङ्ख्याने
प्रोच्यते गुणसङ्ख्याने
यथावत् शृणुतान्यपि
यथावत् शृणुतान्यपि धन्यवाद.
Now he's going to pick a few of these things and elaborate a little bit. Okay? Few of which things? Jnanam, Nyayam, Parijnata. And then Karta, Karanam, Karma. Or Karta, Karma, Karan. These are the 6 main things, of which he's going to pick a few things and talk. Okay? All right. So, Tani api shrunu. That's the verb right there. Shrunu. Shrunu means listen. Listen. Tani api shrunu. These also, I'm going to elaborate on a few things. You listen to me about that. Okay. Jnanam karma cha karta cha. Already mentioned these things before. And now you will ask the question. The word karma refers to action or does it refer to object? Because in the previous shloka, karma meant 2 things. Karma chodana, karma sangraha. The word karma refers to action. And then in the second line, karta karma, karta karma karanam. Karma referred to the object, that which is an object of my action. Okay. So if I'm drinking is the action, then the object is water, not glass. Water in a glass, I'm drinking. That I can say. Glass is not the object of drinking. So even though glass is also involved. So many things are involved in action, obviously. And so karma. So here the question is, what is the word karma? Jnanam karma cha karta cha. So here it refers to action. Knowledge, action, and agent of action or doer. Okay. So the word knowledge is taken from the first group belonging to karma chodana, and karma and karta belonging to the second group. Okay. Karma sangraha, constituents of action. Okay. All right. Tridha eva guna bhedataha. Tridha eva. There is a way to split that. There is a sandhi. Guna bhedataha. Differentiating with respect to guna. Gunatraya vibhaga yoga we saw earlier. That whole chapter. Sattva. So everything, so many things were categorized. Dhanam also was categorized as Sattvika Dhanam, Rajasika Dhanam, and Tamasika Dhanam. So he's saying, I'm going to do the same thing. Trida eva. I'm going to split these 3. Karta, karma and jnanam. I'm going to explain to you by telling you what is sattvika karta, what is rajasika karta, and tamasika karta. Likewise for karma and likewise for jnanam, I'm going to tell you. Trida eva guna bhedataha. Then he says one thing very interesting. Prochyate guna sankhyane. Okay. So there are darshanas. Advaita Vedanta is one darshana. And Purva Mimamsa is another darshana. Darshana means the Shad Darshanani. The top 6 quote unquote Siddhantas, philosophies, if you want to call it, of Sanatana Dharma are the 6 darshanas, of which Sankhya is one. Sankhya is one. We have a Sankhya Yoga second chapter. There is knowledge already. But these people are actually called Sankhyas. And so Shankara says, Kapile Shastre. That's how he explains Guna Sankhyane, Kapile Shastre. Why? That is direct reference to Kapila's Sankhya. Kapila's Sankhya. Okay. So, Kapila is the Muni, the name of the Muni, the Acharya, who expounded this Sankhya philosophy, and which is a Tarka Pradhana Shastram. Tarka. They use the Veda as a secondary pramana. And for them also, everything is Satyam. Okay, everything is Satyam. And so, the Sankhya Pradhana, and what he's saying is, Shankara explains beautifully, he says, even though we don't agree with what Sankhyas say, when it comes to Satyam and Mithya, they have no Satyam at all. Or they have everything is Satyam. There's no Mithya at all. Okay, even though they talk like that and we disagree, but when it comes to this Guna analysis, Sattva, Rajas, Tama analysis, Tama Guna analysis, they are very good. And Nipunaha are very good. So Vedanta is happy to borrow it. After all, analysis of Guna, anybody can do, and then we are welcome to borrow that. So he is saying that. Shankara's commentary says that. And so therefore, here our Swamiji gives a beautiful Subhashitam. The Subhashitam says, if there is something reasonable, somebody says something reasonable, you should accept it. Rational, logical. You should accept it. Even if that something reasonable comes from a boy, young person, or from a parrot. Even if a parrot says something intelligent, you better listen to it. You can't just say, oh, it's an animal and all. You can't say it because it's reasonable. You're able to reason it out. Okay, look at this. The Subhashitam says, Yukti yuktam vacho grahyam baladapi shukadapi. Baladapi shukadapi yukti yuktam. Yukti means reason, logic. Yukti yuktam. If it is endowed with reason, if what is said is reasonable, yukti yuktam vachaha means whatever was said, whatever was spoken was reasonable, was logical. Then grahyam, you have to take it. Grahanam kuru, you have to accept it. You can't say no to it. Even if what? Baladapi shukadapi. Even if it was told by a child or a parrot. Okay. The reason why he brings parrot is this. Next. Because the word Shuka also refers to Vyasa's son Shuka. So next sentence says, Yukti Hinam. When there is something spoken which has no logic at all, totally illogical, Yuktihinam vachaha. What to do with that? Tyajyam. Give it up. It's of no use to you. It's no use to you. Even if it is spoken by an elderly person, vruddha tapi, shukadapi. Even if Vyasa's son were to tell you something illogical, you should tell him goodbye. I'm not interested. Shuka. They're also Shuka. So it's a pun on the word Shuka. So Sanskrit teachers and students can make a note of that. I found that to be interesting. So yukti yuktam vacho grahyam. You can Google it, you can find it. Bala dapi shuka dapi yukti hinam vachas tyajyam vruddha dapi shuka dapi. Like that. How beautiful all these things are. So that's why it shows we can't be carried away by charisma and all these things. This charisma is a very vague word. What is charisma? If you define how will you define charisma? Please tell me. Please tell me. He's speaking everything. His arguments are all data based. If you say, I can understand that. He's using solid data to explain his facts, explain his reason. I can follow that. But he's charismatic. Therefore, you have to believe what he says. This is where this kind of society cannot be Vishwa Guru and all. We can't be carried away by charisma. And so, therefore, we can always learn from others. We can always learn from others. And I've learned work ethic from US. From US work ethic. Not that India doesn't have, but in general, US work ethic is very, very high, very good. And something they say they do, they will say they will do it. And even in government offices, it works very well. So that's why life in the US is very simple, because you go somewhere, they will do it for you. That's it. And you're just waiting forever and all doesn't happen. So that we can learn from the US. So we can learn from each other. Just like we can learn from America, America also can learn. From what? Say from Japan. What can America learn from Japan? Don't poke your affairs in other countries' business. Just stay put out to. Don't be obsessed about other countries. Okay, that they can learn from Japan, right? So like this, we can all learn from each other. So yathavat shrunu tani api. Yathavat shrunu. Listen to me as it should be understood. Yathavat. No making up, no exaggeration, or no, minimizing the importance, nothing. Yathavat shrudu. Shankaracharya says, Yatha Shastram, Yatha Nyayam. Look at that. Yatha Shastram. Shastram is Pramanam for us. And so Yatha, as the Shastram says, and Yatha Nyayam also. You can always bring in reason and then bring that reason which may not be stated by the Shastra. Shastram will assume you understand all these things. So you bring in your own reasoning. Okay. And Yatha Shastram, Yatha Nyayam, Shrudo, Tani Api. Like that he says. So let's translate this shloka. In the Sankhya philosophy, knowledge, action, and doer knowledge, action, and doer are said to be threefold. Are said to be threefold according to the distinction of the gunas, according to the distinction of the gunas, or according to guna-based distinction. Either one is fine. Full stop. Means each of them is subcategorized into those three gunas. Okay? Listen to them also. Listen to them also as they are. As they are. Very interesting usage. That means as they should be understood. Listen to them also as they are. Yatha vat. Yatha means as it is. Vat means like as it should be, like as it is. Listen to them also as they are. All right. In the Sankhya philosophy, knowledge, action, and the doer are said to be threefold according to the distinction of the gunas. Full stop. Listen to them also as they are. All right. Now, let's chant shloka number 22. Okay, not 20, but 22. Okay. We'll come back. We'll come back in the order of 22, 21, and 20. Okay. Let's chant 22. Yattu kritsnavada Yattu kritsnavade kasmin
यत्तु कृष्णवद यत्तु कृष्णवद एकस्मिन्
karye saktamahaitukam
कार्ये सक्तमहैतुकम्
atatvarthavadalpam cha
अदत्वार्थवदत् अल्पं च
tattamasamudahritam.
तत्तामसमुदाहृतम्.
Okay. So now he is going to take the first one in the previous shloka number 19. He said jnanam karma cha karta cha. He is going to take jnanam from that three. And then he is going to divide that into three gunas. So he is going to talk about this sattvika jnanam, rajasika jnanam, and tamasika jnanam. We are used to that kind of a subcategory. He is going to do that. And so we can see where it's going. And when the child is born and the child grows up, the child begins to get an idea of the world around itself, parents, and then father, mother, and then things that the child is eating, etc. And slowly it begins to get an idea of itself also. Previously, idea of the self is not there. Idea of the self is not there. Even body idea is not there. Not there. Even to say that, oh, this body belongs to me. Oh, it takes a while. It takes a while to get there. And that's very beautiful. That idea of self is not there. Absolutely none. It's so free that it doesn't even know that this thing is there. I have to take care of this body. All this idea it doesn't have. And so slowly it gets the idea that this body is me. This body belongs to me, and this body is me also. I'm as good as this body. That's it. Mind doesn't exist. Child doesn't know what mind is. Okay. And body clearer because gross. And so I'm this body, and may come to know that the body is mortal also. If not, with time the child becomes an adult. Mortality of the body becomes clear. So I did full identification with the body and mortality of the body. This is the idea of the self. The self is mortal and the self is as good as the body. This is the first lesson everybody learns. Without being taught. Without being taught. We are not taught this thing. We make the conclusions based on our own observation of things and relationships. And so this dehatma buddhi comes. Dehatma buddhi means what? Dehaha eva atma. The body alone is atma. That's it. Everybody, this is everybody's conclusion. Dehatma buddhi. Okay. And science comes along. We go to school and college and all. And guess what? Science confirms our conclusion. Science does not know anything about Atma and all that. Soul, Atma, Jiva, and all. Nothing. Science doesn't talk about it. Science therefore confirms what we know, reinforces what we know. And so this notion gets entrenched. Dehatma buddhi. And then some people take it forward and say, this is the philosophy. What is the philosophy? Atma is the body. They convert this this wrong conclusion into a philosophy. And that philosophy will fly because nobody knows anything better. You have to know a little more in order to challenge that philosophy, but none of us know anything. So, therefore, that philosophy is called what? Charvakaha. They have a name also. They're very nice. They have a title, Charvakaha. In English, they say materialist. Materialist. And that's because for him or her, everything is material. That's it. There is no non-material. There is no consciousness. There's no karma, punyam, palam, papam, heaven. Nothing is there. Nothing is there. And Perfect, perfect it is. And it becomes simple. Yavad jivet, sukham jivet. As long as you live happily. Live happily. You want to borrow money? Borrow money. Just don't worry about returning and all that. Rinam kritva gritam pibet. These our acharyas are too good. Rinam kritva gritam. Gritam means nehi. Nehi means ghee. Just if you have to borrow money to buy ghee, just borrow money because enjoyment is the goal of life. Please don't forget that. And so Gritam means anything, whatever makes you joyful, just go for it. Basmi bhutasya dehasya punaragamanam kutaha. This is beautiful. This body is going to burn and go away. Okay, we're not afraid of it. We know that's what is going to happen. That's why I'm saying enjoy your life. Did you not get it? That's why you should enjoy the life. This body is given for you to enjoy. And so, Basmi Bhutasya Dehasya. Punaragamanam, you are talking about past birth, future birth, karma, this karma, prarabdha karma, sanchita karma, and agami. It's all unnecessary. You're just confusing. People are having fun, and in between, you're bringing all these ideas and just confusing everybody. That is the guy. That guy, okay? He converts this whole thing into a philosophy. And so for him, the only pramanam, he also has pramanam, not Veda pramanam. Sense organs is a pramanam. Sense organs. So he actually agrees that for him, science is important. Science is very important. Yes, science also uses sense organs, measurements, observation, inferences it can draw, all based, all reasonable, rational, rational. So that guy is rational guy. But he says, you tell him about Punyam and Papa, he says, prove it. Prove it. If you prove it, I'll accept it. Unfortunately, you can't prove. You can't prove Punyam and Papam. You can just make some observations. Child prodigy is there, therefore some observation can be made. And you can make some arguments, but you can't prove it. You can't really prove it. Okay. And so it's like this. He says if you tell him Veda and all, Veda is you don't bring in all Vedas here. Can you prove it or not? That's all I wanted. Veda says it's Svarga is there means what? That Veda says Svarga is. That is, for me, it's not Pramana. It is exactly like you go to another planet and there you meet other intelligent beings like you, like humans. Can be anything, but as long as they're talking intelligently, that's fine. It doesn't work. Their shape is immaterial. And then after some time, you find out that these guys, this is a very interesting flower. We don't have, in Earth, we don't have this flower. And then you tell them, why? We don't have it? No, we don't have it. And then it smells so different. My God, it's neither rose nor jasmine, neither this nor that, not chrysanthemum, and all you say. And then it's a very interesting flower. It has a very beautiful smell. And then they ask you, what? It has a beautiful smell. What is smell? Then it dawns on all of you that, my God, these guys have hearing, they can see, they can feel, and they can even taste, but they can't smell. The sense of smell is not. They don't have clogged nose and all. I'm not talking about this blocked nose and all. No, everybody's nose is fine. They're breathing fine. No disease, nothing. And don't say COVID, you can't smell and all. No, nothing. No COVID, nothing. And they can't smell. That's it. You check around with people and all, none of them can smell. But you can smell. In that same planet, you can smell things. The odor is very much there. And then you try to tell them, now you try to tell them that there is something called smell. And they tell you, prove to me that there is smell. How will you prove? Only 4 sense organs are there. How are you going to prove that there is something called smell? You cannot prove smell using the 4 other working sense organs. You can't. They're all independent. And so that is how here also it is. Veda Pramanam also is like that. you have to use it. You have to use it, and the sense organ has to reveal itself. Swata Siddhaha. It's the beauty of all these pramanas. Okay. And even with sense organs, it is like that. What about Veda Pramana? Veda Pramanam has to be used. You can't say prove it. You have to use it, prove it, and then if it proves for you, well and good. And so you tell them. So you can argue with them like this. These Charvakas. You can say, do you have a back? Yeah, I have a back. How do you know you have a back? Have you seen your back? Have you seen your back? No human being can see their back. You can see somebody else's back, but not your back. And so, if you have not seen your back, you don't have a back. Have you seen your brain? No, I've not seen your brain. Oh, I'm happy that you agree with me that you don't have a brain. Because that's how you're talking. You talk as though you don't have a brain, and yes, you do not have a brain. And so, that much we agree on. Nothing else we agree on, but that we agree on. So, therefore, this is how this discussion goes. And that guy, that basic guy called Charvaka. And because Veda, if you look at Veda, Veda is not required to know what you can know through the five sense organs. All the things we use are it's all things that we made, human beings made. Books are there, and you don't need the Veda to tell you what book is, what is fire, what is this, what is cloth, what is door, what is wood, everything you know. You don't need Veda for that. Veda is needed only for those things which my own reason, my own perception is unable to tell me. Beautiful definition is there for Veda. Let me finish with that. Okay. Pratyakshenanu mityacha or pratyakshenanu mitya va yastu payona vidyate. You can write it down. Yastu payona vidyate. Pratyakshena mityava yastu payona vidyate. When pratyaksha and anumana do not help you at all. Pratyaksha means perception using the five sense organs. And then after perception, anumana, reasoning is there, inference is there. If perception and inference do not help me in understanding something, then I have to go to Veda. Then he says, Yenam vidanti vedena. Yenam vidanti vedena. And that you can understand by the Veda only. Veda only. Tasmad Vedasya Vedata. What a beautiful statement it is. There, that is what makes Veda the Veda. Vedasya Vedata. Look at that. Vedasya Vedatvam. Means what? What makes Veda the Veda? It is the fact that it tells you something that you can't figure it out yourself. That's the meaning. That is why when they say Veda is scientific, you have to ask questions. What do you mean by science? What do you mean by science? We got to get down to the basics. Science means whatever you can see and smell and taste, and then use inference and logic and come up with more and more inferences and conclusions is what science is all about. Science is resting on pratyaksha, on perception. Even Big Bang is resting on perception. It's an inference that is based on perception. Big Bang. Okay? And so, how can you say Veda is scientific? You can't say. You can say Veda is rational, you might be able to say, but not scientific. There is no connection between Veda and science. Very beautiful it is, all these things. So, anyway, we'll continue this discussion. Okay? And then we will see that in 22, he's going to talk about Tamasika Jnana. This Charvaka is this Tamasika fellow who says, Bhasmi Bhutasya Dehasya. That kind of knowledge is Tamasika Jnana. Then Rajasika and then Sattvika Jnana. Okay? We'll see that in the next. Oh. आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। ॐ काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः सज्जनाः सन्तु निर्भयाः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।